So here we talk about, for example, this is again the cornerstone of Agile. Every Agile, whether you call it as a Scrum, Lean, Safe, Kanban, or whatever it is, it doesn't matter. It must adhere to these basic premises of thinking and working. The 3 pillars of Agile, as it's called, is based on empirical ways of working. So you should have transparency, you should have inspection and adaptation, not adoption here. Again, I just want to make sure that it's clear, because adopt is to actually kind of take in, but adaptation is you modify, you kind of adjust to that. So what does each mean? Transparency is being open, not just to your team, but also to your customer. That's why we're engaging the customer from the day one. I remember we used to have this kind of hierarchy of business development teams, account manager, business development team, sales manager, customer account manager, key account manager, all these people need to manage the account of the customer. And they used to actually, all this hierarchy, they used to actually hide things from the customer, saying that if something is wrong, they don't let the customer know immediately. They used to actually let the customer know for a month, 2 months, just about when we're going to deliver something, when we have the deadline and the customer is expecting the build and the release. That's when the waterfall times, about 15, 20 years ago, we used to tell the customer, you know what, there's some problem, we can't deliver it today. We had got a technical glitch, so we can't deliver it today. The server collapsed, we can't deliver it today. Why? Why do you want to actually wait for telling the bad news, in such a delay? So that's why with Agile, what is important is you need to let the customer know. The first person to know if there's a problem is a customer. Tell them that there's a problem, then perhaps they will be able to actually kind of jump in and then help us solve the problem. So they could actually give us a new server. They could actually come up with a new solution. They could actually give us a new tool to help us, right? Because it's their business. It's their work that we are doing, the customer's work. So it's very, very important that we're transparent within the team. And that's why with Scrum, we've got the sprint plan, not only sprint planning, but also a very important sprint ceremony, what we call as a daily Scrum, a daily stand-up, where we actually gather around. The team gathers around the table, and then they actually share what they're up to, what are the kind of work that they were doing yesterday, what is the work they planned for today, and how they're going, what are the problems that they have. So that's within the team. So they're being open to each other about what they're doing. And then the customer is involved. If there is anything that they want to know and let the customer know, then they would also update the customer saying that there's a problem. Hey, you know what, instead of waiting till the deadline, do it today, do it now, as and when the problem arrived. So the customer could actually help. So it's all about updating the customer, the business, the team, the senior management about the progress of the project. So you don't have to wait for the bad news later. And then the problems, so all of them could actually help us facilitate in solving the problem. And the next important thing is what will happen when you do that? Because when you are transparent, when you deliver something quickly, then you can actually kind of inspect. You can do better testing of that. You can do quicker evaluation of that. You can get the feedback earlier from the customers and from the users, instead of waiting for 1.5 years like we did before in Waterfall. With Agile, you're actually trying to get the feedback earlier, maybe in a 3 weeks time, in about a month's time, we can actually get the feedback. So we can quickly work on the feedback. And again, that's the next bit, adaptation. You adjust, you accept the feedback. You don't fight the feedback. You never tell the customer that they're wrong, right? So that's what they say. There is a saying, right? Rule number 1, the customer is always right. Rule number 2, if ever the customer is wrong, go back to rule number 1, right? So those are 2 rules that we need to live by. So don't tell the customer that they're wrong. Try and accept what they're trying to say, what their version of things is, and then try and understand how that could impact our product. In the context of the e-commerce website, if we deliver the catalog, let's say by November, our e-commerce website for the mobile accessories we were developing, we're taking an example. So if we could deliver the website, the catalog functionality by November, so that means that we can actually get the feedback from hey, this is not working. I keep clicking on the add to cart, it's not working. This item details page not showing the full resolution of the image. It's very what should I say, pixelated. So these are the kind of things that you can actually get from the customers, right? After they had a go at the build, and then you can actually kind of work on that. If you think that's really important, and urgent, like what we did yesterday, the prioritization session, you can prioritize these defects as the most important and the urgent ones to work on before you actually work on the next one, which is the shopping cart functionality, right? So you constantly kind of accept the changes, continuously evaluate the changes, continuously adapt yourself, your product, your catalog, your backlog in a way that would suit what the customers really need. So you're no more in the dark room, you're actually kind of out in the front with the customers, engaging them better and talking to them and then asking their feedback. So that's the beauty.